Hello everyone. My name is Gabino Guzman. This summer, I was placed in the Cardiac Vision Laboratory at UCSF Mission Bay with Dr. Christoph, and the title of my project is called The Optimization of a Panoramic Three-Dimensional Optical Mapping and Ultrasound Imaging System for Ex-vivo Imaging of Isolated Contracting Hearts. So first of all, I'd like to show the setup from the laboratory. We have a 3D printed chamber where in the middle, we put a rabbit heart, and then we use an ultrasound system and cameras to collect data from it to understand cardiac rhythm disorders. So some quick facts about cardiovascular diseases is that they are the #1 leading cause of death in the world, and every 33 seconds, somebody in the US dies from it. And in 2021, it was approximated that around 695,000 people died from cardiovascular diseases alone. A specific type of cardiovascular disease is called a cardiac arrhythmia, also known as a heart rhythm disorder, and they arise from the malfunctioning of the heart's inner electrical system. And what you get in the end is a irregular contraction, and there's a mild form of the irregular contractions, and that's known as tachycardia. But there's a more severe state called fibrillation that has more severe consequences if left untreated. So the objective that I sought out, or the problem that I sought out to solve this summer is this. We have the optical data from the cameras that show us the action potential waves propagating against the heart surface. And we have the wall motion from the 4D data, from the ultrasound data, but we have never been able to combine the two. And that's essentially what I sought out to do, or rather to start. And the combination of the two is known as a cross-registration. And it's never been done before for the purpose of imaging hearts between cameras and an ultrasound. So the first step to this would be producing a calibration device that enables the alignment and the cross-registration between the ultrasound and the camera data. And that can be accomplished through the 3D triangulation and cross-registration, which I will talk about next. So again, just redefining some of my methods. First is to create the calibration device that will demonstrate unique features for our code and our algorithms to track and follow. Second, it would follow that we obtain and plot 3D coordinates from the optical and the ultrasound data, and ultimately conducting the 3D triangulation and the cross-registration. So in the end, I was able to produce two different calibration devices. One featured 3x3 cones on top of a flat surface, and the other a 2x2, and both were able to be, or both of their features were able to be differentiated in the ultrasound and in the optical data. Furthermore, I was able to plot the tips of our second design in 3-dimensional space from the optical data. However, it holds a limited interpretation as the orientation of our calibration device is undecided based on our graph. And what I mean by that is we're unsure if in our plot we see the device facing up or the device facing down. All that we know is that the tips were able to be mapped out. As for future direction, obviously would follow that we complete the 3D triangulation with both the optical and ultrasound data, as I was only able to compute that for one of my designs, and that was just the optical data. And obviously graduating to perform the cross-registration. And eventually we would like to graduate to working with pig hearts, as they're the closest anatomically to human hearts instead of rabbits. Really quickly, I'd like to give some acknowledgements to everyone who contributed to my success this summer, namely my mentor, Dr. Christoph, the Cardiac Vision Laboratory, and especially the SSRP staff and the SSRP students, because without you guys, I don't think I would have gotten this far. And lastly, I'd like to thank the NIH for funding my research. That concludes my presentation.